Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the A segment of episode 20 of Codename Kids Next Door, Operation Ghost. We begin this segment in the yard of the Uno home, where 4 of the 5 Sector V operatives are holding a funeral for one of the hamsters, Chubbo. Number 3 is saying a eulogy for Chubbo, and number 4 arrives in the middle of when number 3 is saying this eulogy, and number 4 is surprised to see that the funeral is still going on. Number 4 doesn't have the warmest of feelings towards hamsters right now because he's still upset about the fact that apparently some of the hamsters have been stealing his soda. And soon enough, we actually see this is the case. A group of hamsters appear and spray number 4 with some of his soda, which infuriates number 4, and he chases after the hamsters in retaliation. Number 1, number 2, and number 5 try to cheer number 3 up and assure her that Chubbo is in a better place now. And they try to describe what the Hamster Other World, or the Hamster Afterlife, depending on what you want to call it, is like. And their descriptions seem to put number 3 at ease. The rest of the Sector V operatives decide to return to the inside of the treehouse, but number 3 says she's going to stay by Chubbo's grave for a little longer. And number 1 in particular says he understands and tells number 3 that she can stay as long as she needs to. So the rest of the Sector V operatives return to the treehouse, and number 3 stays by Chubbo's grave. Eventually, it's nighttime, and number 3 is still by Chubbo's grave. She says her final goodbyes to Chubbo and says how she wished she could take care of not just Chubbo, but all the other hamsters that are in the Hamster Other World, or Hamster Afterlife. Soon enough, though, a rainstorm begins, so number 3 heads back inside of the treehouse. But what number 3 doesn't see, but we, the audience, see, is a beam of white light emerging from Chubbo's grave. Later on, we see number 3 is asleep in her room, but suddenly she wakes up when she hears a noise of some kind, and she decides to investigate. On her way to the source of the noise, number 3 sees that number 4 is also still awake. He's still chasing after a group of hamsters that have taken some of his soda, and he's still not happy about it. Eventually, number 3 finds that the source of this noise is coming from the treehouse's power core room, and inside she sees a lone hamster is running on one of the many hamster wheels within the power core room. Number 3 tries to assure the hamster that there's no need for, that the hamster doesn't need to run on the wheel right now because the treehouse has enough reserve power for the night. But soon enough, number 3 realizes that this is actually a ghost hamster, and more of them start to appear, not just on the other wheels in the power core room, but even just floating in the middle of the air. And number 3 is startled by this and runs. Number 1, number 2, and number 5 hear number 3's startled sounds, and they rush to see what's going on. Number 3 tries to tell them about the ghost hamsters in the power core room. So they all go back to the power core room to investigate, but there's no sign of any ghost hamsters in there. The number 1, number 2, and number 5 figure that number 3 just might be imagining things because of how stressful Chubbo's passing must have been. That's what they think, that this is a result of Chubbo's passing causing her to see things. So they try to encourage number 3 to get some sleep, and everything should be all right. So they return back to their respective rooms to sleep. But before number 3 has the chance to return to her room, the ghost hamsters return. Eventually, number 4 is tricked by the group of hamsters that he's chasing after. He's tricked into getting locked out of the treehouse. So now he's on one of the balconies of the treehouse. But he did manage to reclaim one of his soda cans, so he's bragging about that. But soon enough, number 4 hears something, and when he looks down on the ground, he sees the ghost hamsters taking number 3 into a portal. That's right. Chubbo's grave now has a portal somewhere, and the ghost hamsters are bringing number 3 to this portal. Fortunately, there is an alarm outside of the treehouse, outside on the balcony that number 4 currently is on, so he's able to activate the alarm to let the rest of the Sector V operatives know so they can help number 3 out. It turns out it turns out Chubbo's grave has become a portal to the Hamster Other World, or the Hamster Afterlife, and it is, the location is as how number 1, number 2, and number 5 had described it to number 3. And number 3 actually reunites with Chubbo in particular. And she does say that that she wishes she could take care of all of the hamsters that are currently here. But she says that she can't, which notably sours the mood of these hamsters. Number 3, though, the next scene has a little back and forth where it seems like number 3 is reconsidering and the hamsters are cheering, but number 3 decides that it can't be done, or that it's not possible to do so, which sours the mood of the hamsters once again. And eventually number 3 decides that she can't stay because the hamsters still in the treehouse need to be cared for, and she figures that there's nothing to worry about since these hamsters are ghosts. But in their angered state, the ghost hamsters actually take on their ghostly appearance, because originally the hamsters looked as they did when they were alive, but now they've taken on their ghost appearance, and number 3 is unnerved by this, and she tries to make a run for it to escape. The ghost hamsters are not happy about this, and they take on a more vicious appearance before chasing after number 3. Soon enough, we see that, we see the other 4 Sector V operatives have lowered a rope through the portal to the Hamster Other World, or the Hamster Afterlife, and they're going to use that rope so they can get back to the living realm. So they begin their search for number 3, and they do see number 3 they see number 3 running away from the ghost hamsters. So they join her in running away from them, and they are all able to they all grab onto the rope that's been lowered, and they're all able to climb back to the living realm. But they're not out of the woods just yet, because the ghost hamsters have formed together to form a giant ghost hamster, and the ghost hamster emerges from the portal intending to the ghost hamster emerges from the portal and is about to attack. But the living hamsters that stole number 4 soda have a plan. The living hamsters actually shake up the soda that they took from number 4, and they start to spray the ghost hamster. The ghost hamster, though, is actually more amused than anything else. So the living hamsters continue to spray the ghost hamster until eventually it shrinks down in size. And then the living hamsters they manage to get a soda vending machine, presumably from number 4's room, I imagine, and then they toss the vending machine on top of Chubbo's grave, and by extension the portal to the Hamster Other World / Hamster Afterlife. So now the ghost hamsters have returned where they belong, and the vending machine is the front of the vending machine is facing towards Chubbo's grave. The back of the vending machine is facing upward. So after that happened, number 4 actually Number 4 says that he thinks the hamsters aren't as bad as he thought he thinks they aren't as bad as he thought they were earlier in the segment, and he decides to let the hamsters have any of his soda if they want any. And one of the hamsters actually requests a soda right now. So number 4 is happy to give one of his sodas to this particular hamster, and he and the hamster are about to drink their respective soda cans, but the hamster decides to shake up the soda and spray number 4 with it, thus reigniting number 4's animosity towards the hamsters as he's chasing after them. And number 3, though, is hopeful that the hamsters in the Hamster Other World or the Hamster Afterlife are happy now. And the segment ends showing us, the audience, that the soda from the soda vending machine is actually falling through the portal into the Hamster Other World / Hamster Afterlife, and the ghost hamsters are enjoying spraying the soda everywhere. So that's how we end this segment. Now, this segment is a segment that many fans consider one of the darker entries in the series, and that's really saying something because in one of his blog posts, Tom Warburton confirmed that the original idea for this segment was even darker. He clarifies that whatever the original idea for this segment was like, the executives at Cartoon Network thought it was too scary and requested that the staff and crew members of Codename Kids Next Door tone it down. So it definitely makes you wonder. I mean, if many people consider this segment to be one of the darker entries in the series, it does make you wonder what was the original idea like, which was even darker in comparison or even scarier in comparison. And because as far as I could find, I couldn't find any clarification of what the original idea of this segment was like, so I don't know what exactly it was about the original idea that led to the executives requesting it be toned down. I'm not sure what it was like, so I guess it's up to viewer imagination to figure out what the original idea of this segment was like that would have made the executives request it be toned down. But besides that, that's right. This was actually, this had a detail that I was thinking about when I had rewatched Operation No Power back when I did the recap and thoughts video for that particular segment. In this segment, number 3 had commented about how they have reserve power for nighttime in the treehouse, and that reminded me of Operation No Power because in that segment, the main conflict of that segment was the result of the hamsters going on vacation, and because the hamsters had gone on vacation, that meant there was no power in the treehouse, which is how the Sector V operatives were at a real disadvantage when Grandma Stuff'em had paid them a visit. So yes, so having a reserve power for nighttime so the hamsters don't have to power the treehouse 24/7, that gave me the impression that this was the Sector V operatives learning from the events of Operation No Power. It looked like they took some precautions or contingency plans to ensure that they wouldn't be in the same predicament as they were in Operation No Power. And other segments, you could say, showed that as well, because we did see the Kids Next Door operatives using 2x4 technology that didn't require being plugged in, so that didn't run on the hamster power as well. So that was actually it was a small detail, but it gave me the impression that the Sector V operatives learned their lesson from the events of Operation No Power. So I felt like that was actually a subtle but still great example of the series' serialized nature. And otherwise, there was also, this is the second time we've had a hamster that actually has a name, Chubbo in this case, because Joaquin was the first hamster to have a name, and he first appeared in Operation Kiss. And I think Joaquin may have actually appeared in one of the hamster group shots in this segment. It did happen pretty quickly, but yeah, it's possible that Joaquin might have actually appeared in this segment as well. And so yeah, it was interesting to see more of the hamsters actually having names rather than just being a nameless group. And otherwise, yeah, you could say this was a pretty good spotlight appearance for number 3. This kind of highlighted how number 3 is considered the caretaker for the hamsters, for Sector V anyway. For the Sector V operatives, she's the one who is considered the caretaker for the hamsters. And number 4 also got a pretty prevalent role because you could say he was kind of the focus of the subplot where he was had a feud with the living hamsters as they were. Yeah, number 4 had a feud with the living hamsters when they kept stealing his soda. So yeah, number 3 and number 4 both got pretty significant roles. Number 3, yeah, you could say this segment was more of a number 3 spotlight appearance because she was the main focus of the main plot of this segment. But number 4 still got to have a prevalent role in the subplot of this segment as well. So yeah, I thought this segment not only gave those 2 particular Sector V operatives some focus, but we also did get to see more of the hamsters themselves getting a more prevalent focus. So otherwise, I think that's about it for this segment. It's definitely interesting to, wonder about what the original idea for the segment was like, considering that a lot of fans already consider this segment to be one of the darker entries. You can't help but wonder what would have been the darker idea for this segment, or the idea that made this segment even darker, and thus leading to it being toned down. It definitely makes you wonder. But otherwise, yes, I believe that's it for now. So as of this video, we've now discussed the A segment of episode 20 of Codename Kids Next Door on this channel. Take care, and until next time.